the Tuesday, April 19th meeting of the Lancaster County Board of Commissioners. My name is Deb Shore. To my left is Rick Fest, and to my right, Rom Amundsen and Sean Flowerday, fellow commissioners. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Clerk, if you'd begin the agenda, please.
A copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is located on the wall at the rear of the hearing room. Additionally, all written material to be discussed at today's open meeting is available for electronic viewing from the county clerk's staff. Printing options are available upon request. These materials can also be viewed on the county's website at lancaster.ne.gov. Agenda item 1 are minutes. Approve the minutes of the Board of Commissioners meeting held on April 12th, 2022.
I move approval.
Second.
All right, any comments or corrections? Seeing none, call the roll, please.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundsen,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
4-0. Number 2 are claims. Approval of all claims processed through April 19th, 2022.
Move approval.
Second.
All right, a motion and a second to approve the claims. Call the roll, please.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundsen,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Number 3 are consent items. These are routine business items that are expected to be adopted without dissent. Any individual item may be removed for special discussion and consideration by a commissioner or by any member of the public without prior notice. Unless there is an exception, these items will be approved as one. With a single vote of the Board of Commissioners, these items are approval of amendments to the following county contracts. C-19-579 with RSM US LLP to provide financial auditing services. C-19-645 with Sapp Brothers Inc. for the annual supply of lubricant. C-13-602 with Uribe Refuse Services Inc. for waste and recyclable collection services. C-21-247 with Anderson Auto Group to provide the annual supply of OEM body parts and mechanical auto parts. C-20-749 with Envirotech Services, Inc. for corrosion inhabited liquid magnesium chloride. Right-of-way contracts with the following: Norman T. and Patricia Wallman, Highway 77 and West Stagecoach Road, in a total amount of $1,046. Fruschliff Farms, LLC, Southwest 70th Street and West Rokeby Road, in the amount of $559. Marjorie E. Alexis Trust, Highway 77 and West Stagecoach Road, in the amount of $847. Kenneth D. Jensen Revocable Trust, South 176th Street and Woodstock Road, in the amount of $1,187. Ronald C. and Myra Morrison, Southwest 72nd Street and West Stagecoach Road, in the amount of $991. Linda C. Henning Family Trust, Southwest 100th Street and West Martell Road, in total amount of $3,018. DCBA Investments, LLC, North 40th Street and Branch Oak Road, in the amount of $753. Utility Permit 2231, allowing Charter Spectrum to replace a fiber optic cable due to the replacement of County Structure M119. Utility Permit 2229, allowing Nebraska PPD to install new communication conduit along Southwest 42nd Street. Change order number 9 to County Contract C-21-378 with Pavers Inc. for additional services. Received and placed on file the following quarterly reports for January through March for the County Sheriff's Office and mileage reimbursement.
Is there a motion to approve the consent items?
Move approval.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Best,
Yes.
Amundsen,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Next is new business. 4A is a resolution in the matter of authorizing a county board chair or vice chair to sign the task order agreement with JEO Consulting Group, Inc., preliminary engineering services.
Good morning. Pam Dingman, Lancaster County Engineer. This is for services in regards to the Arbor Road Bridge located just to the east of 27th and Arbor Road.
I move approval.
Second. Call the roll, please.
Amundson,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. B is on-call professional services task order agreement with JEO Consulting Group, Inc. for preliminary engineering services in the amount of $18,644.38.
Pam Dingman, Lancaster County Engineer. This item, which is attached to the one that preceded it, is in regards to the preliminary scoping services for engineering of this bridge.
Move approval?
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. 4C is Nebraska Task Force 1 employer acknowledgement in the matter of County employee Brooke Seifker becoming a member of the task force.
Good morning, Jim David Saber, Director, Lincoln, Lancaster County Emergency Management. I brought Brooke Seifker, our Emergency Management Specialist and one of the newest members of Nebraska Task Force 1. Brooke certainly distinguished herself during the application process. She completed the basic training last week, so this is just the next step in her process to become a full-fledged member of Task Force 1. So I just wanted to give her the opportunity to introduce herself and answer any questions you may have.
Jim?
Good morning. Thank you so much for your guys' support. I really appreciate it.
Jim told us a little bit last week about, your interest in the task force and kind of your background. So just kind of share a little bit about that with us.
So with my background, I actually managed a zip line and rock climbing company out in Colorado. So we did a lot of high ropes technical rescues, and we worked a lot with the local police department, local fire department out there. So just trying to find a little bit of that adventure, that adrenaline back here in Nebraska. And I feel like I found it, so I'm pretty excited, and to be able to continue with the rescues and helping people as well.
Oh, very, very interesting. Very interesting. So,
Very, very exciting, and really appreciate you taking the initiative to join Task Force 1. We don't like to need them, but we know sooner or later something will arise, and specific skill sets are going to be required to help out people in trouble. So thank you for taking this on. I move that we approve.
I would second that.
Yeah.
And I guess what I would like to say is that when you are doing that type of work, you are really answering a call to service. There are so many people who really desperately need your help in situations like that. Mm-hmm. And so you may be getting an adrenaline rush, but I'm certainly sure that you are getting a great feeling of personal satisfaction.
Absolutely.
I just want to thank you for representing Lancaster County on Task Force 1. I think it's really impressive and just pretty cool that we've got one of our own team members on there. And so it's great work. Thank you.
We really appreciate Jim hiring smart and good people like that.
That's just it. I mean, any experience that Brooke gains through Task Force 1 certainly pays a dividend to the county as well. So,
Yeah. Exciting.
we have a motion to
And a second.
acknowledge the
Seconded.
member in a second. All right, call the roll, please.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes,
Motion carries 4-0.
Thanks so
Thank you.
much.
go safely.
D is a grant contract with American Immigration Council for the implementation of the Gateways for Growth Welcoming and Belonging Strategic Plan in the amount of $15,000.
Our friend Commissioner Yoakum wasn't able to be here this morning as she's attending a conference for additional training. But she is very excited for this grant that will help. Lincoln's always been a welcoming community, but this is one more tool to help folks who come from afar, to help them come into our community and help have the resources so that they can successfully transition into our community and into a successful life here. Really admire the courage of those who leave their homes and come to the United States, just like my great-great-great-grandfather did all those years ago. We welcome these folks in. This will be another tool in helping them be successful in our community, so I will move approval.
I will second. My understanding is this was a pretty competitive process, actually, and we were, you know, I don't want to say lucky. We were very good, and combined with a little bit of luck to get this. So I think this is a really unique opportunity for Lancaster County, and I think it's going to be a great addition to our community.
It's very well said, Sean, and I think we're lucky that we have really good people working in this area.
Absolutely.
Thanks to the New Americans Task Force and many other stakeholders that came together to submit such a competitive application. Call the roll, please.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Best,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. E is an agreement with Milliman, Inc. to perform an actuarial review of the county's workers' compensation and general liability programs.
Move approval?
Second?
Call the roll, please.
Amundson,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Best,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. F is a contract with Straight Line Striping, Inc. to provide 2022 pavement markings. The cost of the county is not to exceed $172,842.80.
Pam Dingman, Lancaster County Engineer. The exhibit that I have placed on the overhead shows locations where we are planning on redoing the paint striping this year. We typically redo the paint striping on about 50 to 60% of our roads every year. This is safety for the public so that they can see the lines in the dark and in the rain.
Move approval?
Second?
Motion is second. Call the roll, please.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. 4G is an agreement with General Excavating to provide road maintenance while conducting excavation of soil, sand, and gravel on property located east of 7600 North 70th Street.
Good morning, John Berry, Lancaster County Engineering. Before you is a maintenance agreement. It's for a part of Arbor Road running east of 70th Street. It's an existing asphalt road. This road is one of the haul routes for the proposed Abbott Sports Complex mining pit. The pit is on the east side of the existing complex. It's an asphalt road again. It's going to be used by GE is going to be running the pit. Part of the contract or part of the agreement is that they will notify the Lancaster County Engineering Office if they're going to haul more than 4 loads a day on that road, so that we can keep track of it and make sure that it's staying where it's at.
So this will help us
Maintain that road, correct.
keep
It is a
in shape.
dead-end road to the east end. There's just a little turnaround area, so it doesn't go any further east. The remaining parts of their haul route are within the city limits of Lincoln, so this little section of road, about a half a mile, is what this agreement is for.
I would move approval.
Second.
Do we have any idea, well, I'm just curious where they're hauling to and how long this might be in?
The route is basically hauling down 70th Street to their facility on Cornhusker. As far as where they're going after that, I really don't have any idea. The pit itself is only about 400 by 500, so it's not a huge pit, and I believe the permit talks about just going 4 or 5 foot deep. So it's not a big site like some of the other ones around the county.
All right, call a roll, please.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. H is a recommendation from the purchasing agent and county engineer to award a contract to Top Coat Inc. for 2022 chip seal.
Pam Dingman, Lancaster County Engineer. This is our annual chip seal program, and I just want to remind everyone that this is a multi-step process in which we put down an emulsifier and actually roll in chips A lot of times people will call me and say, why are you making our paved road back into a gravel road? I will assure you that is not the case. This gives us a wearing surface on our asphalt that preserves the asphalt for another 3 to 5 years. And of course, the goal is always to keep our asphalt slabs pothole-free. And this is an exhibit showing the 3 locations where we plan to do chip seal this year.
Make that 2 easily. Where's the third?
Oh, sorry, the third one is way down here,
Okay,
just on the west side of Hallam.
got it.
Oh.
All right, any questions?
Move approval.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Best,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. I is a recommendation from the purchasing agent and county engineer to award and execute a purchase order to Step Manufacturing for pothole patcher trailer using the state of Minnesota contract 961 bracket 5. The total amount of the order is $160,070.
Good morning, Ron Bohati with Lancaster County Engineering, and I'm here to answer any questions you might have about this piece of equipment. This will be more efficient for our department. It hauls a larger quantity of material, so we won't have to make the second trips, say if we're going all the way from Firth back into Lincoln to get more material. It also takes better care of the material. It doesn't burn it, so we'll have a better product when we put it down on the road.
What equipment is this replacing, or what is changing here,
It's
Ron?
replacing a piece of equipment we bought in 2017. They have about a 5-year life cycle, and that piece of equipment is pretty wore out, and at one point last year the frame actually cracked on it. We had to make a repair on it, so we'll be replacing that piece of equipment with this one.
Will we be disposing of that older one, or will we have 2 pothole?
I would propose we would put it on Purple Wave and dispose of that piece of equipment, and then it'd be auctioned off like we do with other equipment.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
All right. Thank you for the picture.
Yeah, yeah, we appreciate that. That saves us coming out.
Move approval.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I just wanted to say thank you for being here. You look really sharp this
Well,
morning.
thank you.
I mean, I second.
All right, motion is second to purchase a pothole patcher trailer. Call the roll, please.
Amundson,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Best,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is legislative update.
Suppose we probably can remove this from the agenda.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, we probably can now.
That's true. That's right.
Last
That's
one.
tomorrow.
Next is public comment. Those wishing to speak on items relating to county business, not on the agenda, may do so at this time.
Is there anybody wishing to make public comment on an item not on the agenda?
Pam Dingman, Lancaster County Engineer. I wanted the board to be aware that yesterday afternoon, we had a significant finding on Bridge S-180. This is quite frankly my worst nightmare. We have just started the design of this bridge, and we know that the permitting and utility locations in this area are very complex. As you are aware from previous statements and discussions by me, this is on our poor bridge list. It is rated poor by the Federal Highway Administration. It is also one that is noted on our scour susceptible list. This is one of 3 bridges built in 1958 with federal funding at a cost to the county of $10,000. And of course, we're not going to get that good a bargain this time. What I want the public to be aware is that this bridge has continued to significantly deteriorate, not only structurally, but the embankments around it. We did notice when we were out yesterday significant movement in several pieces of this bridge, as well as significant voids behind the abutment. And it's a little difficult to see in this picture, but nevertheless, still there, significant additional new cracking behind the abutments showing that this structure is indeed moving. And what we really don't want to happen is we don't want our bridges to move. And so I am very sad to close this bridge because I know how much this corridor means to the citizens of Lancaster County. But nevertheless, as an engineer, I have the responsibility to close the bridge.
Anyone else wishing to make public comment? Seeing none, we'll continue with the announcements.
The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners will hold a staff meeting on Thursday, April 21st, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. in room 112 of the County City Building. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners will hold its next regular meeting on Tuesday, April 26, 2022 at 9 a.m. in room 112 at the County City Building. County Commissioners can be reached at 402-441-7447 or commish@lancaster.ne.gov. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners meeting is broadcast live on Link TV City. For the rebroadcast schedule, visit lincoln.ne.gov. Meetings are also streamed live on Link TV, YouTube, Roku, and Apple TV.
Move we adjourn.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Right, we are adjourned, and we will now call to order the Tuesday, April 19th meeting of the Lancaster County Board of Equalization. Mr. Clerk.
A copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is located on the wall at the rear of the hearing room. Additionally, all written material to be discussed at today's open meeting is available for electronic viewing from the county clerk's staff. Printing options are available upon request. The material can also be viewed on the county's website at lancaster.ne.gov. Agenda item 1 are minutes. Approval of the minutes of the Board of Equalization meeting held on Tuesday, April 5th, 2022.
Move approval?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from Tuesday, April 5th. Call the roll, please.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Abstain.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 3 yes, 1 abstention. Number 2 are additions and deductions of the tax assessment rolls.
Move approval of the additions and deductions to the tax assessment rolls.
Second.
Okay, motion is second to approve the additions and deductions. Call the roll, please.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Number 3 is appeal of notice of taxable status for the following: State of Nebraska and Board of Regents of the University of Nebraska.
Good morning, Scott Gaines, Deputy Assessor, Register Deeds. These are ongoing appeals that we're recommending denial on. We argued this case before Turk last summer. Still waiting decisions on those back to 2019, I believe. So our recommendation is for denial. And just for the benefit of the board, these are the commercial restaurants operating on government property at the state office building, UNL main campus, as well as East Campus.
One of the first issues when I came on the board was this disagreement. Do we make a motion?
Motion.
So our recommendation would be for denial of the appeal, yes.
Okay. I move we deny the appeal of both of these entities based on the recommendations from staff.
Second.
Motion is second to deny based upon the recommendation of the county assessor. Call the roll, please.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Next is public hearings. First public hearing is on 451 exemption applications for the following years: 2020, 2021, and 2022.
How do you want to handle this?
Ones are up. Do you know which ones you have, Dave?
Sports Foundation,
Sports Foundation?
right? All of it.
Okay.
I can address the Sports Foundation now if you'd like.
Yes.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I will open the public hearing. Sorry, neglected that statement.
Thank you, Commissioner. My name is Dan Zig with the County Attorney's Office. There are two 451 exemptions before you involving the Lincoln Sports Foundation for years 2020 and 2021. Those are received in February of 2022 by statute. Those have to be received by December 31st before the tax year. Otherwise, there's another part that allows that to be extended to June, but then penalties apply. However, if the exemption is not received before July 1st of the tax year, so in this case it'd be July 1 of 2020 and July 1 of 2021, then it cannot be granted. I know there's a request for it. I'm here to tell you that as your attorney, you do not have the authority to grant this exemption. It might be a thing where you feel bad for them or you think that maybe it should be granted, but you do not have the authority. I think we've told this board several times, you only have the authority that's given to you by statute. If you act outside of that authority, it could arguably be misconduct, which would subject you to removal from this board. So as your counsel, I'm advising you to deny those two exemptions.
That's 1 and 2, Dan?
I believe so. Is that correct, Dave?
Yes, that's one
1 and 2.
And so then item 3 for 2022, the proper procedures were followed.
I believe that's correct. Is that?
And I'll speak to those.
Yeah,
Okay.
is that-
What, okay.
And I'll just go ahead and address the 2022.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do. For item 3, the 2022 exemption applications, we are recommending approval of all 4 of those. Those are new applications that have come in as these entities have acquired the property since the first of the year.
Okay,
Yeah.
are you referring to, we're still on item A, the 451 exemptions,
Correct.
and you are addressing item 3, the 2022.
That is correct.
Okay, and there are 4 in there, all for approval. Okay,
So recommendation for approval of 5C and denial of 5B and 5A?
That, yes.
Okay.
yes, okay, all right. Is there anyone else wishing to address the 451 exemption applications?
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do. Dan Lessing, Lincoln Sports Foundation. I guess we're kind of in a dilemma here. By law, I guess you have to deny our application, to be tax exempt on this property. Lincoln Sports Foundation has been tax exempt on all their property since 2005. Through our settlement with Abbott, in 2020, part of that settlement was that Lincoln Sports Foundation would be gifted the part of the motocross track that Ethel owned. So Lincoln Sports Foundation would own the entire sports complex. And some of you are aware of the agreement between Lincoln Sports Foundation and the county and the state and the federal government, where if that motocross track's not operated, the county has money to pay back to the federal government. Well, we're the ones that are operating the track. And we never found out that the property that they're saying we need to pay taxes on was up for a tax lien ever. We received, someone that roller skates at the complex received a Facebook message that the property was going to be sold as a tax sale at the end of the month. Well, then I had to do my research, and the bottom line is, I have this, and if you can see the transfer statement, can I put this on here?
Yeah, it just takes a second.
Well, somewhere someone in the county offices couldn't put the proper address, mailing address, on the form. So we never received any type of statement or notification that we were even owed, that we even owed taxes. Well, since we don't pay taxes on that property ever, out of sight, out of mind, I'm a volunteer out here running this place. I never really thought about, oh my goodness, we have to fill out the 451 on the property that we acquired from Ethel so we own the entire tract. And I know everyone on the county board was happy that Lincoln Sports Foundation acquired that part of property from Ethel so we would be in complete control of that property. so we could run it and be in compliance with everyone. But if you can see, it clearly states the mailing address on this real estate, P.O. Box 22378, Lincoln, Nebraska. But when you go to all the forms, they have my business address, which I have no clue how they could even get the 901 Oak Street address, because that's my real business that I run and own and operate since for the last 25 years. But every document, they have the wrong address. They even have the wrong zip code for the 901 Oak Street address. My zip code is 68521, not 68542. Here again, the wrong address. So basically, they put down the wrong address. We never received anything. Well, I get that we're responsible. I was told that, you know, the county's not responsible to track down landowners that are trying to get out of their property tax. I was informed that by the same lady that was the one that entered the information miscorrectly. Okay, so you can see in my frustration that a nonprofit, Lincoln Sports Foundation, who's running the track so the county can be in compliance, is now out $14,000. $7,000 for 2020 and $7,000 for 2021. And I will go back to, in history, when we were going through the settlement, this stuff, all the mail used to go to the Ethel Foundation's P.O. box. Well, so we never received our exemption notifications to redo it for 2019, which is due on 12/31/18. But I received a letter from the county, and somehow you forgave our 2019 taxes. So I get the 2020 taxes might be a little more difficult, but the 2021 taxes, as soon as it came to my knowledge, we're in the same time frame as we were here. So I don't really understand why 2021 can't be forgiven when 2019 was. We were supposed to file 12/31/18, and we didn't. You can see the letter was dated January 25th, and on this form, it's dated 2/12 when I sent it in. So we're talking pretty much the same time frame for our 2021 taxes. Okay, and again, you know, I wouldn't be wasting your time or my time if this is our fault. Okay, I mean, when you have a mortgage on your house, you don't think of paying your property taxes because it's all in your escrow. You pay your mortgage, the bank takes care of it. When you own property outright, you do. Okay, but if you don't, when you're running a nonprofit organization that's never been responsible ever for paying property taxes in 21 years, why would you ever think to even think about, ooh, we didn't get our tax form, we have to pay our taxes?
Right, because if I may,
Because we never pay taxes.
yes, sir, if you would you be willing to take questions?
Sure,
I have
absolutely.
a couple that I'd like to clarify.
Okay.
The rest of the property that you previously had, you do have tax exempt status on that because you're a nonprofit.
Yes,
And so then the new property with the motocross track on it came to you. Now you're owning and managing all of it.
yeah, we've always managed the track,
Oh, you
but we
have.
only owned half the property. Because half the track is on Lincoln Sports Foundation property, and half the track was on Ethel S. Abbott property.
Mm-hmm.
Well, part of the settlement agreement, we wanted the entire property that the track was on.
Mm-hmm.
And they were happy to do that as well, because they wanted out of that as well. But, so it took about 1.5 years to get the surveys and all that. So they finally transferred it to us. And now, right here, here's a transfer statement, and that happened, you know, in 2020, February 2020,
February 2020.
right here.
Okay.
So then we should have probably, so I'm not sure how we could have done anything in 2020. Because the deadline would have been 12/31/19 for 2020, And we didn't even own the property on 12/31/19.
Okay, we'll clarify that. So you did not get any, what you're telling us this morning is you did not get any notice that property taxes were going to be coming due on this property, that there was an exemption deadline that you needed to comply with?
No, and when I inquired why, if the mail was returned, because it didn't get to us, because I don't have a mailbox, I have a P.O. box for my business, and we don't have a mailbox at the complex. We have a P.O. box for that as well.
Okay.
And when I inquired why, what do you do with the returned mail? And their answer to me was, again, we're not responsible tracking down landowners that don't want to pay their property taxes. Which sort of fired me up, being a taxpayer who always pays my property tax, that's really kind of the answer that you're going to get when it's obviously their fault. I mean, I'd like to put the responsibility on the county. I mean, they're the one, somewhere in the county office, they could not take what's on this paper and put it into their system.
Question for you. Do you file the 451 exemptions on the other property that you own?
Yeah.
And that's an annual process?
Yeah, and I have that. And the only time we didn't, when I was referring to 2019, 2020 is those exemptions were going to Ethel's P.O. box. So we didn't file it by 12/31. But then they allowed us to on this one right here. This is why we were late filing our exemption in 2019.
And I think we'll have.
Because we weren't ever
we'll have
getting the mail.
Yeah, we'll have the
And this
assessor
is already
address it.
done, but all the other property is up. And I have all those in here that we file the exemption. And we will again, we did for 2020 on the new property, we will on 2021. And when I go back to my shop, I'll get 2022 in as well. Because we just purchased the rest of that land from Ethel. So I got to file for 451 for that land we just purchased as well.
Okay. I have a question for Scott. Any other questions for Dan before he steps back? Scott, there was a comment made about waiving the 2019 fees, which
And I'm not sure what Dan's referring to there. I know on the property that we're talking about, that particular parcel, that was taxable for 2019. He may be referring to some of the others. And for clarification, when you acquire that property, so when he acquired this property, was it, Dan, was it early 2020?
February 2020 is what I've got.
So they would have been, so this happened. We know we got this in 2020, and we'll talk about the addressing in a moment. What would have had to happen for an exemption to be considered for 2020 would have been an exemption application filed by the entity by June 30th of
Right.
2020.
so there was 4 months that could have been accomplished.
Right, and that's, and like we addressed some, the property sells, so we remove the exemption from the previous owner. We notify the new owner. In this case, it was taxable for 2019, so when the transfer occurred, they got the deed. They had until June 30th to apply, and there wasn't any notification coming from any county entity to say, oh, this entity acquired property, you might want to file for exemption. There isn't, that just didn't happen because there was not any exempt property
Got it. Okay.
at that time. So I hope that clarifies a little bit. And I certainly sympathize with Dan's position. But what I would like to point out is for 2020, they would have had to do that before any notice would have come from the county. So I get it. 2020, the mailing situation on the statement, it says the owner is Lincoln Sports Foundation. Who do you want the address or the statement to go to? Dan Leswing at 901 Oak Street, P.O. Box, and a zip code. In our office, when this was processed, we processed it Lincoln Sports Foundation, care of Dan, at 901 Oak Street. Due to space constraints or whatever, we used the address that was provided rather than the mailing, the P.O. Box, and then that corresponding zip code. So in essence, what happened is there was a bad zip code that we applied. Right, wrong, different, human error. The zip code we used was what was in the box. That zip code apparently applies to the P.O. Box, not the mailing address. when we, again, we can't send it to a post office box and a mailing address, and an address, so we selected the mailing address as the what we put on our notice. So then that goes to the treasurer's office, so the treasurer sends out a tax statement in December because there hadn't been an application for exemption received to that point. And then it just perpetuates. And what happened to the mail from the tax statement from the treasurer, I have no idea if it was returned, if mail gets delivered to that address. And I guess I can't speak to that.
Other questions? All right, is there anyone else wishing to testify on this?
I have a few more comments, if I may. Because, I mean, that's all great, but, you know, this isn't even my money. It's the foundation's money, okay? And the bottom line, and I'll just say it, us running that track is helping the county. It is. And this track was way before my time out there, okay? I mean, I inherited this track. The first board meeting I was at, they discussed the track, and it was announced in the board meeting that by running this track, Lincoln Sports Foundation would lose $70,000 in the first year. And my first comment was, whose idea was this? And then it kind of went somewhere else. You don't need to know about that part. But the track, in my mind, is a losing proposition for Lincoln Sports Foundation. But we're doing our obligation. And what irritates me is the money that we were notified by a Facebook message. I mean, it's not hard to find Lincoln Sports Foundation. I mean, if Lincoln Sports Foundation, we have 4 other properties that are tax exempt. Okay? I mean, if they really wanted to find us, they could find me. They didn't Facebook message me. They Facebook messaged a roller skater at the complex 2 weeks before it was going on a tax sale. We could have let it been sold. And we'd have all kinds of problems right now if the new owner that bought it on a tax sale didn't want to keep running it as a motocross track. And they'd have half the motocross track. So we went down and paid 2020 so we could keep running it. But I think you all received a letter from Park and Recs on how much it is a year if you have to pay back. And right now, if that motocross track ceased to exist, the county would be, I think it was like $200,000 that they had to pay back. All right? So I'm actually, you can sit here and say, I'm here as a volunteer running a sports complex. Okay? And I'm doing the right job. I'm doing the right thing by representing the complex because it wasn't our fault. You can make us pay it. That's fine. That's up to you guys. And you can tell us the law and all this. But there's a certain marriage here between that track, the county, and us that I don't want the county board members or anyone in the county or the county attorney to not understand.
I think we do understand.
Okay, that's all.
Sir, do you have some time we've got some more business to complete and then we sign documents. Do you have some time I know you're a busy guy, but do you have some time just to stay after the meeting? I'd like to talk further with you.
You know what, I will make time, but yeah, I would like to go back to my business, but I will make time because you took time to hear this, and I think I will take time. I will stay.
And Dan, before you go, I want to make sure, because we're not discussing the merits of the exemption whatsoever. Once we get an application, it'll be approved. I'm confident of that. But we do need you to file the 22 application so we can get that before the board timely and get it to. I just didn't want that slip through the cracks, and we'd visited with your legal counsel about that. I just want to make sure you were aware, so we could consider the 22.
I addressed that. I said I'm going back to my office. I'm going to fill out both of them when I get there.
All right. Okay. Would it be the board's preference then to take action on correlated items 5A, B, and C before we jump to proposed changes in exemption status? I think taking maybe as we go along might be more helpful.
I think so.
Or A1, 2, and 3.
Right, right.
So, and and to clarify, because we said this a little bit ago, I think Sean clarified it, but we are obligated to deny 1 and 2 and approve 3.
Yeah, so the county attorney's office said we have a legal obligation to deny 5A and 5B, and the assessor staff recommends approval of 5C.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'm on the wrong paragraph. Do you want a motion now?
Yes,
Deb?
I
All right.
think it'd be before we
Are
move
you-
on to the next
Are
category.
we going to close the public hearing?
Yes, I am. Is there anyone else wishing to testify on this portion of the public hearing? Well, I guess we'll have to reopen it again, but I think we need to vote now while we're all on the same page. So we will close the public hearing on the 451 exemption applications, and if you could read correlating item 5A.
This is action on the following. 5A is the 2020 451 exemption applications.
Despite a lot of concerns about what we've heard here this morning, what we've been hearing, I move that we deny item 5A, the 451 exemption applications.
I'll second that.
Any additional discussion? Call a roll, please.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Next is 5B, 2021 451 exemption applications.
Again, same scenario, same issues, same concerns, but I move that we deny item 5B, the 451 exemption application.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. C is 2022 451 exemption applications.
Based upon the recommendation of the assessor's office, I move that we approve the 2022, it's C, item C.
Second?
Call the roll, please.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
And we'll now reopen the public hearing for anyone wishing to provide testimony on notices of proposed change in exemption status.
And this is for Middle Cross Church, Prince of Peace Lutheran Church, Carmel of Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do. Recommending removal of the exemption for these three due to sale of these three properties. I would note that we've already approved exemptions for the new owners in the previous item 5C. So these are just change of ownership. Two of them have been, again, already exempted under the new ownership. And the third one is, we're still anticipating an application yet by July 1 for that one. So this is just to clarify, the exemptions are gone from the previous ownership.
Right, is there anyone else wishing to provide testimony on this item?
Because you've already received your approval. Regardless of what you say now.
Yeah.
All right, seeing none, we will close the public hearing on this item B, and if you could read correlating item 5D.
This is action on the following. 5D is notices of proposed change in exemption status.
I move approval of sending the notices. Exemption status.
Is there a second?
Second?
Okay, call the roll, please.
Amundson,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Next is 4C, public hearing for motor vehicle tax exemption applications. This includes the American Red Cross, Nebraska Crop Improvement Association, and Dialysis Center of Lincoln.
All right, is there anyone wishing to provide public comment on the motor vehicle tax exemption applications? Seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing and move on to item 5E.
Move approval of 5E.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Next is number 6, public comment. Those wishing to speak on items relating to County Board of Equalization business not on the agenda may do so at this time.
All right, is there anyone wishing to make public comment? Seeing none,
We adjourn.
Second?
Motion and second to adjourn. Call the roll, please.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes,
Motion carries 4-0.
we are adjourned. Thank you.